Recently, I lost third gear, and it's been months of me trying to resolve that through analysis, but also rebuilding the transmission myself. I did my first transmission rebuild, and it's the 470W transmission that is an overdrive, electronic overdrive transmission. And the first time I put the transmission back in, I had a problem. I'll go over that in a different video, but in this one I found a different problem that was very unique but easy to fix. I was having extreme drivability issues. The truck was searching for gears. I actually even saw some transmission temperature increase, and the overdrive was just not working properly. Delayed overdrive lock up, and when the overdrive did lock up, it hit really powerfully. So I was really worried about what was going on. I was driving down the road one day and I was playing with the column shifter. I noticed that the thing wasn't shifting properly, and when I adjusted the column shifter, the transmission actually started operating a little bit better. Made me realize I probably had a problem with the connection of the cable from the column shifter to the transmission selector at the transmission. And this made a huge difference in the performance. It was like a 90% improvement. I've done some performance upgrades to that transmission, so I still have some tuning changes I need to make that torque converter work better. It's a 2200 RPM stall converter. But I got a lot of these shifting issues resolved through what I'm going to show you in this video. Super simple, but it's definitely something that you should take into consideration. If you put a new transmission in, you do any column work, anything that may adjust the location of that shift cable, you need to pay attention to this video and do these adjustments properly. I'm going to show you why that happens. Here's the old transmission I took out of the vehicle. Again, it was still running pretty good, but I had a problem with the 2.3 accumulator, and I ended up rebuilding another transmission to go in there, so I knew I had something fresh on a 260,000 mile vehicle. But as many of you probably know, or maybe some of you don't, here's the valve body, and this is the brains of the transmission. It basically tells the transmission what to do. Now, when you're shifting gears, it all starts right here with this shift mechanism. This is your selector switch that goes back to the ECU and tells the ECU what gear you're in. And here you can see the shift pawl. And when you adjust your shift, you can see that it's moving a valve in and out of that valve body. And what that's doing is changing the flow of the transmission fluid that's being pumped from the pump throughout this valve body to give different functions, like going from first to second, going from second to third, going into overdrive, etc. Well, the problem I had was that I incorrectly attached the cable here to this little pin, and I was getting a little bit of an in-between setup because there's shift pawls also on the shifter on the column, and I'll show that in a second. So because I was somewhat in between, I wasn't getting good shift performance. So what I did to fix this, clockwise is park. I'm going to go one shift, that's reverse, one more neutral, one more drive, and I made sure that I matched up drive on the transmission with the selector with the shift column mounted selector, so they both were working properly together in harmony. This was exactly where it needed to be for the valve body. So as I just mentioned, the shift column here actually moves that pin, and there's a detent in here also that locates where the shift column is. And they need to be matched up perfectly to make sure that you're getting proper shifting location of that valve on the valve body. So as I just showed on the transmission, I put it in the drive position. What you need to do here is put your key in without starting the engine, make sure your emergency brake is on for safety, and pull the shifter into drive as well. And now you can line up the cable underneath the vehicle with the pin on the side of the transmission.
This just snaps off, but in order to get it to the right position, what you want to do is use a little screwdriver and pull this tab up, which allows you to push that little tab or this piece up, and it allows you to move the whole assembly back and forth. When you want to put it back on, you get it into the right location and you lock it into place by pushing that back down.
Thanks for watching my video, and make sure you go down to the description to see the playlist for the 470W transmission, all the work I've done on it. While you're down there, give me the thumbs up, and I also have a bunch of tools and products that I recommend in the description. So always check that out on every one of my videos. See you next time on Driving Intelligence.